Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is Islam and Muslims in America at the 21st century. And of course we have with us to talk about Islam and Muslims in America at the 21st century, Dr. AAl-Hadid. Dr. AAl-Hadid is the chairperson of the Africana Studies Department at Tennessee State University. And of course with Dr. AAl-Hadid is RFakhruddin. And of course, Mr. Fakhruddin is a member of the Islamic community as well as the Islamic Center in Nashville. And of course, let me welcome you, Dr. AAl-Hadid.
Thank you,
and
Dr.
Mr. Fakhruddin to the show this morning, and to tell you how delighted we are to have both of you here this morning. Of course, Dr. AAl-Hadid, this is one of the first shows that we've had an opportunity to deal specifically with Islam on this particular show. We've dealt with a number of other issues that certainly surrounded that. Let's have you and Mr. Fakhruddin to give us some information about your background and your education and some of the things that were important to the two of you, and after which we will then get into a discussion of Islam and Muslims in the United States at the 21st century. Let's start with you, Dr. AAl-Hadid.
Yeah, I guess this time, Doctor, I'll just give my Islamic biography since this is the topic.
Good.
Well, you know, I came interested in Islam in the 1960s, and when I was a graduate student at the University of California in Santa Barbara. And it just so happened most of my best friends were Muslims, and they got together one day and decided that, you know, I was a Muslim and did not know it. So in 1969, I had a chance to study at the University of Nairobi in Nairobi, Kenya. And at that time, I went to a mosque. I hadn't been there for about 2 weeks, and I declared that I was a Muslim in August of '69. And 6 months later, I made the pilgrimage to Mecca in 1970. And so I've been on this path of Islam since 1969. Came to Tennessee State, and of course, initially I was in the sociology department, and currently I'm the chair of the Department of Africana Studies at TSU.
Mr. Fakhruddin, what about your situation in terms of your background and how you ended up here with us today? Well,
continuing where Dr. Al-Hadid left off, in 1969, he accepted Islam. That's when I came to this world. And in 1970, moved with my parents from Bangladesh actually to Nashville. So we've resided in Nashville since 1970, basically most of my life. I've studied here, went to elementary school, high school, attended MBA in Hillsborough High School, went to Vanderbilt University, studied engineering, and attended Georgia Tech for my master's, and I'm an electrical engineer by profession, work at Nashville Electric Service in the engineering department.
And now you're at the Islamic Center here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, I'm involved with the Islamic Center on the board. I'm Director of Education and Outreach.
Dr. AAl-Hadid, you're familiar with what we try to do in terms of trying to elicit as much information as we possibly can from our guests relative to whatever the topic is. Let's have you to deal with the overall topic that we're dealing with today, and that is Islam and Muslims in America at the 21st century. What are we saying in terms of identifying such individuals, and where do these groups stand at the 21st century?
Yes. Let's start with saying what Islam is. Islam simply is a religion that comes out of the tradition of Abraham, and it's a sister religion to Judaism and Christianity, and however it comes through the line of Ishmael and Hagar, as opposed to going through the line of Abraham and Sarah. And this is a monotheistic religion, and it simply means submission to the oneness of God. And it's based on 5 pillars. One pillar is that there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the last and final messenger. The second pillar is that all Muslims are obligated to pray 5 times a day, from dawn to noon, afternoon, evening, and night. And then they are also obligated to give charity. We are supposed to give approximately 2.5% of our wealth in charity. It's like an income tax for the Muslim community. And the third thing is that during the month of Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, we fast from dawn to sunset, and then we end it, and we have a big celebration. And the 5th pillar is the pilgrimage to Mecca, and I think a lot of the people in the audience might know about this because when Malcolm X made the pilgrimage in 1965, he changed his understanding of Islam and became more of a humanitarian and more international and standing more for human rights. Now, in terms of Muslims, how did Muslims come over here?
Well, I tell you what, we've got about 30 seconds
Yes.
before the end of this period, and certainly we want to make sure that we don't interrupt you, and you know I don't have any problems interrupting you. And so what we'll do, instead of having me to interrupt you, let's simply allow me to take up the next 15 or 20 seconds, and then we'll come back during the second segment, and we'll have Mr. Fakhruddin to give us some information in reference to his experiences and to talk about his immigrant experiences, and then we'll come back and we'll deal with the substance of what we're doing with you. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.